Hello, good evening. Let's do business now. I am Beverly Broom. Bank of Ghana is taking some extra measures to help consolidate the cedi's stability on the market. The regulator to this end has intervened on the market with some dollar supply. The following report has more. Joy Business understands that the central bank was active on the market today with some $5 million. This is seen by some market players as significant due to the fact that the central bank has not been that heavy on the markets this week. Joy Business is also learning that the bank sold some $20 million today to help the bulk oil distribution firms finance the importation of finished petroleum products. This action by the Bank of Ghana may help deal with demand for foreign currencies, a development that might go a long way to help stabilize the Ghana cedi for this week. You would need about 11 Ghana cedi 46 pesos to get a dollar today. Now, Cocoa Board is pegging participation in its debt exchange program at 97%, with over 7 billion cedis worth of bills that has been tendered. This was after the program ended last Friday. Cocoa Board in July this year launched its Cocoa Bills Exchange Program to restructure almost 8 billion cedis worth of debt. Cocoa Board, however, maintained that settlements will now be done on September 4 instead of this Thursday. But in a related development, financing of Cocoa Board activities in the coming months could be under threat. This was after the banks directed Cocoa Board to freeze their bills submitted for participation in the debt exchange program. This is as a result of delays in securing reliefs for participation in the Cocoa Bills debt exchange program. The bank argued that failure to secure these reliefs will affect its ability to stay in business and finance Cocoa Board in the coming month. Now, economist at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Charles Aka, has indicated that a broadened tax base will help the country increase revenue. He argued that such initiatives will spread the tax net wider compared to periodic increases in taxes, which will only burden a few. According to him, increasing the tax base will help improve tax collection. Speaking on a Joy Business discussion themed Ghana's high taxes, the causes and finding remedies, Mr. Aka emphasized the importance of capturing all income earners under the tax bracket.
So it's expected that the country grows is about the consistency of the growth and also the level of growth. In our history, for about 2 decades, we've been growing around an average of about 5%. That's the best we have achieved. There are times where, when we found oil in 2011, we had about 11 to 12% growth, and then it came down again. For many periods, we grow around less than 3%, 4%, 5%. My estimation shows that if we do the right kind of investment, we should be targeting about 7% GDP growth for a decade. When we are able to, and I don't think that's possible under an IMF program, because the IMF program actually brings in austerity. But it's not feasible because the only way to do that is to impose new and additional taxes, and that brings us back to the question we have. The IMF is asking that VAT must be increased. So VAT is increased from 12.5% to 15%, which is actually counterproductive in a high inflation environment. We introduce more excise taxes on companies and businesses, which is counterproductive in a high inflation environment. Okay, so you can increase your tax to GDP ratio by imposing high taxes and more taxes, but that again is counterproductive because it stifles.
How is it counterproductive? Help me understand.
Yeah, because taxes affect incentives. So if you take, for example, income tax. So income tax affects labor supply. Okay, if I'm going to work and I know that 30-50% of my income is going to go into tax, it already, as an economic rational being, you decide whether is it worth it. Should I go and work and pay half of my income to tax, and I don't know what they're going to use the tax for? So all things being equal, the lower tax rate creates an incentive for people to supply labor. In the same way as a business, corporate tax. No business want to work and pay 50-60% of their profit into tax. So we need low tax rate and a higher or bigger tax base. That's what other countries are doing.
Now, the Ministry of Energy says the country requires in excess of 500 billion United States dollars to achieve the country's energy transition plan. The president is expected to launch the plan on the sidelines at the COP28 of the UN General Assembly in November this year. Speaking at the 12th Sustainable Education and Development Conference at the University of Environment and Sustainable Development, Deputy Minister for Energy Herbert Krapper indicated that the country is committed to achieving 10% modern renewable energy installed capacity in the national energy mix by 2030. Here's more.
According to the Ministry of Energy, Ghana has discoveries of critical green minerals, including lithium and graphite, in significant quantities, and its extraction will be done sustainably while making efficient use of them through value addition to establish Ghana as a hub for electric vehicles and the production of battery technologies. Deputy Minister of Energy Herbert Krapper says Ghana's Energy Ministry remains committed to exploring new energy frontiers to support the country on the path to sustainable, environmentally sound and gender responsive economic growth.
Need in excess of 500 billion United States dollars to achieve our energy transition plan, which His Excellency the President will launch first on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly next month. We believe in responsible exploration of our resources. We believe in low carbon intensity oil and gas production. We're working with the United Nations Sustainable Energy for All, turn our framework into an investor-friendly plan. Our decarbonization plan will increase the share of renewable energy in the power generation mix, and it requires greenhouse gas emitting industries to establish plantations to offset emissions. On energy access and security, we will expedite oil and gas exploration and production, fund the development of clean energy technologies, and we will contribute and will continue to promote and encourage the use of LPG, reduce dependency on wood fuels, and on energy efficiency.
According to him, Ghana will continue in the pursuit of clean and affordable energy, and the academic institutions will play a pivotal part.
We'll continue to promote the use of best-in-class energy appliances, energy efficiency in SMEs, the use of clean cook stoves. The target is to ensure 50% LPG penetration by 2030. Our cylinder recirculation model, with which everyone can exchange an empty cylinder with a filled new one, will ensure affordability and safety. Full-scale implementation of the energy transition plan reap social, economic, and environmental benefits for the Ghanaian people and impact the lives and livelihoods of women and youth in far-reaching ways. Thirds of indoor air pollution has been linked to wood fuels for cooking and domestic use. Know the health implications of this on our women and girls. That is why the Ministry of Energy is distributing clean cook stoves across the country, especially in rural communities. They've distributed 420,000 so far.
He pledged that the ministry will work closely with the academic institutions of higher learning for collaborative research, without which the path to net zero carbon emissions will be as unpredictable as weather patterns of today. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejenyako.
Now, the Minister for Works and Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has reiterated government's commitment to support the real estate sector to boost economic development. Speaking at the launch of the Chartered Institute of Realtors, the minister stated that an operational professional body of realtors will be critical to ensure the needed growth of the economy.
The establishment of the Chartered Institute of Realtors will offer opportunities for sharpening knowledge, skills, standards, and experiences of practitioners in the real estate industry to meet global standards. The professional body of realtors will serve as a prime institution for real estate education in Ghana and beyond. Speaking at the official launch of the group, Mr. Asenso-Boakye explained that there is the need for a certified body to enforce standards.
Clearly, the capacity of the real estate industry to contribute to the growth of the Ghanaian economy and to create jobs for the teeming youth of our country cannot be overemphasized. With the establishment of the Real Estate Agency Council, by the Real Estate Agency Act 2020 Act 1047 to regulate the real estate agency sector in Ghana, and the coming into being of the Chartered Institute of Realtors, the real estate sector, with the support of the Ministry of Works and Housing, should see no boundaries in its quest to take its rightful place in the economic transformation of our country.
The Chief of Staff, Akosia Frema Oseo Pare, called for deep stakeholder engagements to reduce the housing shortage and build a robust real estate industry.
Reducing our housing deficit requires a multifaceted approach. Government, to this end, expects the newly established Real Estate Agency Council to interface with the Chartered Institute of Realtors and other stakeholders to support the efforts of government to find a collective solution to the country's housing deficit and to build the next generation of real estate professionals.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Chartered Institute of Realtors pointed out that housing shortage is the cause of expensive housing in Ghana. He appealed for foreign direct investments to avert this situation.
A lack of availability of enough housing in the country. And if you ask yourself why there is a lack of housing, in fact, that's what drives prices, is when there is not much supply as against demand. And again, I will repeat, the Honorable Minister has mentioned the deficits, and we're talking about millions of units. So when all these deficits are there and there's not much supply meeting, it will always keep the prices higher. So now how do you go about it? It is actually by going about encouraging more people in the market from within Ghana, from within the African continent and from abroad. We want more foreign direct investment.
The institute will offer members high-quality training to enable players in the real estate industry compete with its peers globally.
To some other stories now, and Unilever Ghana PLC in Tema is pushing towards achieving 100% recyclable, reusable or compostable plastics by 2025 to help address endless threats plastics pose to the environment. Over the last few years, about 400 million tons of plastic is said to be produced annually globally, with half of this figure being single-use plastics and polluting the environment. Supply Chain Director at Unilever Ghana PLC, Mayan Kapoor, was speaking to Joy Business as the company, with support from Ghana Recycling Initiative by private enterprise, cleaned post-consumer plastic waste at the Community 3 beach. Tema correspondent Kwame Yanka has more in the following report.
According to United Nations, over 17 million metric tons of plastics found its way into the ocean, which make up 85% of the litter in the ocean in 2021. The impact of plastics menace cannot be underestimated, with the ocean and ocean life at the receiving end. Organizations around the world are making frantic efforts in helping address this mess. Unilever Ghana PLC, which believes in sustainability, says this trend cannot be allowed to continue, calling for deliberate and conscious attempt in bringing in the much desired change. The 2-hour cleanup exercise at Community 3 Beach, close to Terminal 3 of the Tema port, saw participants collecting over 4 tons of plastics after Coastal Conservancy Organization weighed. Mayan Kapoor is the Supply Chain Director at Unilever Ghana PLC.
We at Unilever are committed to have 100% recyclable, reusable or compostable plastics by 2025, and that we are going towards the target and we're hopeful that we would achieve. The request to all on these organizations, not just Unilever, to all, to please support us, come together, and to all Ghanaians as well, to support us to clean up and reduce the plastic usage overall. That's what is our mission, and Unilever, we are committed for it overall. I want to thank Tema Metropolitan Assembly, Coastal Conservancy Organization, GRIPE volunteers, as well as Unilever colleagues of mine who have been here, and we nearly collected more than 4 tons of plastics from these beaches.
The exercise also forms part of Unilever's target to collect 10,000 tons of plastic waste along Ghana's shores by close of 2023, which is their quota for a waste-free world. Young Kapoor used the occasion to appeal to media outlets to join the drive in ridding the environment of plastic waste. Meanwhile, Chairman of Coastal Conservancy Organization, Justice Ishen, explains why removing plastics around Terminal 3 area was crucial.
When we heard that Unilever wanted to partners for a cleanup, we selected this location, specifically because of its proximity to the terminal. And we had always felt that plastics, when they get into water, it's difficult to remove them. And the plastics, when they get into water, they are transboundary. They could go anywhere based on the direction where the water goes. And so we came here today, and I think that we've done a very good job. We've been able to pick roughly 4 tons of plastics just for today. And we are requesting that if Unilever can regularize this activity, every year we come around. And we are also asking other organizations in Ghana, in Tema, it shouldn't be the sole responsibility of only one organization.
Justice Ishen says waste management companies can do their best, but dealing with waste issues starts from homes, and general attitude towards waste must be looked at with all seriousness.
Now, startups in the digital ecosystem will have the opportunity to access some international and domestic support from investors at this year's Digital Innovation Week. The program, slated for November this year, will provide a platform for stakeholders to interact and share ideas on solving economic and governance challenges. Speaking to Joy Business at a short ceremony to launch the initiative, Head of Project at the Digital Transformation Center, GIZ Ghana, David Roberts, hinted that small and medium enterprises in the digital space will be supported to exhibit their problem-solving innovations. Here's more.
Ghana Digital Innovation Week is a nationwide series of events showcasing and celebrating milestones in Ghana's digital innovation ecosystem. The event slated for November is under the theme Innovate, Collaborate, Elevate, Shaping a Future of Endless Potential. Head of Projects for the Digital Transformation Center at GIZ Ghana, David Roberts, told Joy Business the initiative is geared towards supporting the youth in their digital innovations.
The government of Germany and government of Ghana have a contract, and on this base the different projects of the German corporation is working here. So, and we are specialized in the digitalization. Is the reason why we are supporting the goals of the government of Ghana to come ahead in the digital world and to skills, to support artificial intelligence, to support the ecosystem of startups, to discuss the challenge of cybersecurity and the whole framework you need for a knowledge and technology-based economy.
The Israeli Embassy in Ghana is supporting the initiative this year. Here's the ambassador, Shlomi Tsufa.
Previous years we were able to contribute as Israel and Mashav, which is our international development agency. We were able to contribute presenters that would give presentations, workshops and the like. And this year we're still calling on the people who observe this to contribute ideas, to follow us on our new and updated website, on our social media channels. Follow us, engage, contribute your ideas. We're still open. We're still in the process of designing the program.
In the last 2 years, the Digital Innovation Week has mobilized investments into the country's digital space.
Now, as government takes prudent steps to improve technical and vocational education, some private institutions and civil society organizations have resolved to support the efforts. Group Head of Strategy and Marketing at Alliance Life, Na Adole Avevo, has reiterated the company's commitment to help the youth in TVET to create jobs. She spoke at a TVET event organized by Vision Spring and Alliance Life in Accra.
Alliance Life and Vision Spring launched the See to Earn and See to Learn project to upskill young adults by improving their personal effectiveness and productivity. At the launch of the project, workers and students of the Ghana TVET service received free eye screening and medication. According to Group Head of Strategy and Marketing at Alliance Life, Na Adole Avevo, the youth are critical to ensuring economic development through job creation.
At the end of the day, you want to impact the youth, and this particular project is supporting SDG 8, people with disabilities, and you want to really impact the youth. So really it's the youth, and who has the youth than TVET? You want to youth that have the skills, that are going out there to work as well. So help them. They already have the skills, but what can they do with the skills if they cannot see? So help them see and put the skills that they've acquired through TVET to use. Really, that's why we are partnering with Vision Spring and then TVET. So really, Alliance's role in here is the funder, funding with 30,000 euros.
Deputy Director General of the Ghana TVET service, David Pra, added that support of this kind will help the youth to increase productivity.
Technical and vocational education and training is a pivot of every country's development. And so Vision Spring Alliance have thought it wise to collaborate with Ghana TVET service to screen and provide eyeglasses purposely for reading and also to enable our TVET practitioners focus clearly on whatever activities that they will be doing. I'm so grateful on behalf of the Director General, Madam Mausi, to indicate that Ghana TVET service is excited for this wonderful program. We are going to continue to work with Vision Spring and Alliance so that our learners, our students, our graduates who have a clear vision to be able to execute the task that is required of them. TVET professionals, whether you are mechanical engineering, you are a catering expert, you are a fashion designer, you are a driver or auto mechanic, you need clear vision, you need good eyesight to be able to execute your work to the perfection that it requires.
The project will be taken to other regions in the country to empower the youth.
That's all for business tonight. You can read more of our stories on myjoyonline.com/business. I'm Beverly Broom. Sports is next with Razak Musbah. Please stay.